Hello, happy Sunday. It's Sunday where I am, but happy whatever day of the week it is wherever you are. So, what I thought we'd do today is we'd have a little bit of fun. So, I thought what we'd do is we'd have a little bit of a look into the future of what's going on with generative AI, just to get in our heads where we're going here. So, in my previous demonstrations, you'll have seen that I've been actually focusing a little bit recently, not on generative AI writing code, because everyone's talking about generative AI writing code. I wanted to sort of spread out the sort of butter a little bit and just show that it's not all about development being affected by generative AI and writing code. It's going to affect all the things to do with development. So we're going to do a couple of things today. So one of the things I thought I'd do is let's have a little look at Claude Desktop. So this isn't really focused on development, but I thought what we'd do is we'd go away and give this the capabilities to do development, to not get a developer to use it in that way. They wouldn't want to use it in that way, but more about, say, you're a business analyst or you're a product owner and you want to know something about how the code works, but you don't understand code. Please don't go modifying the code. But if you want to understand the code, then you can use generative AI to allow you to do that, because you can actually use it to go away and respond to your question by going away and doing it. But how do you do that? How does it get to the code? So what we've got here, and I'll cover the second part of what we're going to do in a moment, is we've got what I call Claude Smart Shells. So we've got two smart shells running on the right-hand side. So these are things that I've written. So basically, these are a proxy to Claude Code. They originally started out as C# console applications, but some of the capabilities are required didn't quite fit in with what C# could do. So I had to use my Python skills to go in and use Python to do it. And basically, what these two things are doing here, they are basically an elastically scalable set of agents that can go away and run Claude Code tasks, to go away and be given tasks by things outside of potentially Claude Code, because they essentially listen to MCP tooling to tell them what to do and respond back to MCP tooling to report back what they're doing. So because it's MCP, Claude Desktop can use it. Claude Code can use it. Any tooling that uses MCP or supports MCP more correctly will be able to use it. Not only can it do a task, but these can scale. So we've got two of these. So we can have two of these running, doing various things, but we can have as many of these as we require to be able to service the work that we want to do. And recently Anthropic, and I love what Anthropic are doing with some of the very simple way that they've implemented things is really great from a developer perspective, to be able to build these into capable competencies. So they released sub-agents, and basically sub-agents allowed you to create these reusable workflows and units of work that you could go away and get away to do regular tasks. But you could also run them in a parallelized way, because they work on top of tasks. So basically they had tasks, and they very simply plugged in some capabilities of sub-agents. I've done a previous demonstration on sub-agents if you want to know a little bit more about what they are, but you can chain them together to do very powerful, repeatable things. Brilliant concept. They deliberately called them sub-agents, and I think I know why they called them sub-agents, because I think they've got big plans for agents. And what I wanted to do here today was to go away and look at what that might look like. So if you look to my LinkedIn for the past 2 years, from the start, so before IDEs, before CLIs, I was already looking at what development, how it be impacted by generative AI, because I could see, I've seen many pivots in my time. One of the advantages of being around in this industry for a while is you know when a pivot's coming, and you know that you have to react to a pivot, because otherwise you may not survive the traversal through that pivot. So I saw the pivot coming. I thought it might be 3 to 5 years. So I started to get my head around when these things start to appear. A, I'll start building them, so I understand how to build them. And B, when I start consuming them, I'll know how to be able to augment them with extra capabilities. Because one of the differentiators is going to be, how do you leverage this technology to take it further than what anybody else has got? We're in a bit of an arms race with generative AI in terms of people consuming them to be so much more capable than anybody else based on what the core products are. So there's going to be a bit of an arms race for that. So I was getting myself ready for that. And then as they started coming out, we saw the CLI coming out, the IDE first, and then the CLI. Very quickly, 15 months ago, that's going to be about the CLI. So I was already ready for the CLI. I was ready for extensibility. I'd already built my own sort of standard for extending generative AI based on JSON, which is very similar to what actually turned out to be MCP. So I could traverse a lot of the stuff I'd done into MCP. So I'm always looking to the future. And I think Anthropic have probably got big plans for agents. So I thought, let's have a little look at what we can do with agents to be able to do things with them. So two things we're going to do today. So we're going to do stuff with Claude Desktop to empower somebody who's maybe not a developer to go away and interact with code in a way that's natural to them, to be able to figure out, oh, I need to understand how this particular code works. And I need to know if I submit this, what do I get? So they can talk to the code as though they were talking to a developer essentially. So it's a proxy to a developer. And also what I wanted it to do is just to show how real agents may function in Claude Code when they come, where they'll spin off a thing which will go away somewhere else and it'll go away and run as a completely outside of Claude Code. And while you're still doing things, whereas tasks are running maybe in parallel in Claude Code, doing things until they're complete, you going away, carrying on doing things in Claude Code until this long running task is completed, maybe going away, checking the status of it, but it going away and delegating work to these kind of elastic agents that sit there waiting to do work. And one of the things I want to do with these is these have the capability to communicate with each other amongst a bus. So you can have agents of type A, agents of type B. If you've got 4 agents of type A, they can split up work between themselves potentially, and they can dialogue between themselves. So generally have a master agent that'll be coordinating them. You need somebody to coordinate these things, but they'll kind of self-orchestrate to be able to split work into smaller units of work to be able to complete a task. So a task might be 20 subtasks, and they'll be able to delegate those amongst themselves, check where they are on different things to be able to go and complete things. I think the bigger picture for agents, and this is probably still a little bit of a way off in terms of us seeing them in commercial products. We're going to demonstrate what these may look like today because we built them. They'll be able to allow you to do very sort of scalable things at a rate that you've maybe never done before. And that doesn't include just writing code. And that's why a lot of my demonstrations recently about things that empower you as a developer that don't involve writing code, because we get very sensitive about it writing code. But it doesn't just need to write code. The whole development domain is going to be shaken up about what is agile anymore, when it's so agile by the time you had a meeting about what you're going to do, you could have already done it. There's a whole, we're going to have to completely analyze the SDLC about how it works. And these things can go away and they can, and you've seen it in other demonstrations, they can go away and actually use the API as a user, use the UI as a user. They can go away and intercept the database traffic, intercept the proxy traffic. They can go away, control remote compute to do things like penetration testing. It's a whole raft of things you can do with these orchestrated agents, provided you give them a way to talk to each other and coordinate themselves. The orchestration itself is, you need to make that really simple so that it scales really easily to multiple cases. And that's the difficult thing. And maybe we'll do a bit more of that in the future. But what today is about showing what you can do when you've got this capability to scale agentic generative AI in a truly agent format, where these agents are autonomous agents responding to something which is coordinating them. And we'll do it in a very simple scenario today with Claude Desktop and Claude Code. But what you can think about is, well, we've got 2 of these. What if we've got 16 of these? And some of these are basically doing UI testing, API testing. As we change the code, an agent may fire off to say, you need to go away and sort out the automation test. You need to go out and you need to go and use the UI as a user, check how the feature works, check whether it fits in with the remit. Have you got any suggestion on how to make it better? There's a whole raft of things that once this ball starts rolling, and you might still write the code manually if you want to, but a lot of these things that go away and verify whether it works and whether it is good for a user, or what work you're going to do, or what is, rather than just AC, go away and actually prepare a manifest of this is the AC for a thing. I found these issues. I've generated AC for these things. I've also generated what may be potential solutions for doing it and how long they might take. Go away and pick how you want to do it yourself. You might want to do it any of these ways, but you're getting a much more richer information set to go away, for example, estimate things. So even if you're doing things manually, there's a whole raft of things you can do with generative AI to be more powerful. So first of all, we've got 2 of these, what I call smart shells running, one of which you can see has been sitting there, and it's sitting there in agent mode. So it's in what I call simple agent mode. There's a more complicated version, which is fully interactive agent mode, where these agents can talk in real time. And I'm not going to demonstrate that today. There's a lot more complexity to how that works, but I'm just going to show you them running in this agent mode. So we've got 2 of these. We could have 10 of these. We could have 50 of these. Doesn't really matter. So we've got the top one there, just to show this is actually a full Claude Code session. We'll just ask it a question directly. So we'll just go in there and we'll ask it a question, and we'll let it go away and ponder about that. So it'll take a little while to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go away into Claude Desktop, which also, because it knows that these agents are running, and it knows there's only one application, so it doesn't need to ask you which application you want to be looking at. These are both looking at an API that we've looked at before. I've used this Delivery Gateway API because it's basically it's an API that allows you to basically a RESTful API that allows you to submit deliveries, query deliveries, update deliveries, because it uses a lot of technologies that are pretty standard across the C# world in terms of good practices about how you write applications. So we've used that as a test bed for a whole raft of things. I'm going to use that again today. So while that's going, we'll go away and get it to do something else. So let's get Claude Desktop to do something. So I'm a business analyst, and I need to understand what the current API endpoints are. But I don't understand code. So let's go away and get our network to go and do things. So it's going to delegate an agent task to go and do some stuff. And when an agent is available, we've only got one running in agent mode. We've got 2 agents, and we can just go and say, "Is the task finished yet?" It's not started yet, so it should say the task hasn't finished yet because it hasn't even started. There we go. So at the moment, it's going away and just saying, "Yep, the task is running." So it's gone away and it's got a task to do, and this has been generated by Claude Desktop. It's given it a remit. It's kind of made it much richer than what we asked for because it's kind of quite intelligent like that. And in the interim, what's come back here is you can see this fully wrapped Claude Code session has gone away and completed the summary of what I asked it to do is what does the application do. In the meantime, this other agent's running. What we're going to do is we're going to fire this up into agent mode so that it's available to do stuff as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to Claude Code and we're going to go and give it a longer running task while this is going on. And we're going to just say we want it to go in and modify this application to add a new endpoint to returns the 10 most recent deliveries. So that should get picked up by the other agent. If this agent hasn't finished, if this agent finishes, it might pick it up. We'll see. So it's delegating a task as we speak. It's delegated a task. So that should probably be picked up by the top right-hand side agent, and it has. So that will be quite a long-running task because there's quite a lot for it to do there. We'll see how well it does. And it's going away, and you can see it's thinking. The other one is doing this comprehensive analysis to go back to Claude Desktop. So what it's doing is it's looking at all the code. I explicitly asked it to use look at all the code to be able to come back with a comprehensive response. So I would expect it to take a little bit of a while to do that, and that's what it's doing. So in the interim, we could be doing other stuff in Claude Desktop. We can just keep going back and say, has the task finished yet? It hasn't finished yet, it's still running. So I'd expect that to be no. If it's not no, we've got a big problem. Houston, we've got a problem. It's just finished. And let's go away and ask again. And then we should see that the task is completed. Give it a few moments. It's going away asking the agent orchestrator if it's done. The task is finished, and it's gone away and given me a summary of what I asked. So Claude Desktop is then allowing me to talk to the code without being a developer. And there are a lot of reasons I might want to do that because I may be a business analyst. There's a whole set of reasons that we could do. And we can even do programmatic tasks like, let's go away and get it to run the tests and return a simple result summary. So we're in Claude Desktop. We're not in Claude Code. We're not in a development environment. And it's going to go away and it's going to go and ask an available agent. We've only got 2. When one's available, we know we've got one available. When it next checks, and again, it's in simple mode at the moment. If it was in interactive mode, it would pick this up straight away. So we should see on the next time it checks that it should see it's got something to do. And there we go. So it's gone away and given it a task to do. And because Claude Desktop doesn't necessarily know what the code base is, so it's left it fairly generic. By the time it gets to the agent is already inside the code base. It knows what the code is. So it's going to go away and run the tests, and it's going to go away and create a summary. And again, we can ask, has the task been completed yet? And we'll get a no. If it hasn't, well, we can see it because it's in the bottom right-hand side. It's still going on. The development, obviously, task is going to be a lot more long-running. There's quite a lot of code it has to change and check and tests it has to modify and run to be able to make sure that things are right. So there we go. Let's get it to check again. We can see it's finished, and we should see it should report back the test results. So what it's done up there, it's gone away and it's got Claude Code to actually run the tests, and it's pulled back the results of the test. And obviously we can ask specific questions about anything in particular about that by determining what we ask the model to do. So you can see here that there are a whole set of raft of capabilities that I think will become part of what Anthropic do in terms of what they might do with agents. And I think that's why they've very cleverly labeled things sub-agents. So it's done something on the other agent as well now. So obviously what we can do here is we can flick back to interactive mode for that one. And we can see it's gone away and added a new endpoint. API delivery is recent. It's talked a little bit about what it's done. It's written a query handler. It's talking about the response format. And we can go away and probably fire it up. So this could be a disaster. Let's go away and fire it up. I'd probably ask it to run the tests, etc. But I'm feeling a little bit cavalier at the moment. I can see on the other screen that you can't see. It's gone away and made changes that look like they may work. So we'll give it a go. So it's firing up as we speak. Hopefully we should see a browser window shortly. And then we'll be able to go away and see if it's worked. So yeah, there's a whole raft of things that I think agents will become that people haven't really envisioned yet. You're still only 10% of the way in where this is going. And people are already, and they're so focused on the code, they criticize it about writing code. But it's not all about writing code. So there's a whole raft of reasons that we might want to do this. I've got a slight issue here. Give me a moment. Let me just try and do a build, I think. See if we've got a compiler error. I don't think we have. I think it's just being recalcitrant. So I'll give it a rebuild and then we'll try and fire it up. Unable to find the project information. Okay. Give me a second. It's my bad. I've done something in a separate window. So just revert those out. Let's try and rebuild it. Let's try and fire it up. Okay, the rebuild has worked, so we should be able to start it now. And then we'll have a look at what that endpoint looks like. Would help if I put the startup project back to the API. I've done that, so hopefully we should now see the web browser. We should be able to do something. I can see that the service for it started up. So any moment now, we should see a web browser. We should be able to go away and see what's happened. So we've got our new endpoint, recent deliveries, try it out, top 10 recent deliveries, run it. Boom. So it's gone away and completed the task. Now, obviously, we'd be doing something a little bit more interactive, maybe with running tests, etc., if we were doing things along these lines. But what I really wanted to demonstrate was we could go away and get this agent to go away and do the work. And then when it's finished doing the work, we can come back and we can reflect on the work. We can run the tests, or we could get the agent to run the tests, or we could get the agent to spin up an agent to run the tests. So a whole raft of things you can do here. So you can see what we've done here. We've done a whole set of things. So we've given Claude Desktop the capability to do things they can't currently do. So we've given it the capability to have limbs to go away and talk to code, which might be useful if you're a business analyst. We've had a look at what potentially the future of agents may look like in terms of fully autonomous tasks going away under the coordination of a master agent, which may be Claude Code itself, or it may be subsidiaries of these sort of smart console windows coordinating consoles underneath themselves to be able to do things. So already we've built something that doesn't exist today to take things further forward in terms of where I think we'll be going with this. So hopefully you found that useful. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Look after yourself. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.